Good morning and Happy New Year, everyone. Thank you for joining us at our first live service for this year. We will begin the service with the ringing of the kansho. The ringing of the kansho signifies the start of the service. Please sit quietly while you listen to the bell. Please rise for the meditation. Please remain standing for the Vandana Ti-Sarana. For those who are not familiar with it, it can be found on page 165 in your brown service book.
Dharma Amida Butsu, Namo Amida Butsu, Namo Amida Butsu, Namo Amida Butsu.
Please be seated. So in your red service book, please turn to page 123, Gassho to Amida.
Namando, Namando, Namando. This light shines throughout the world. I Gassho to Amida. Flowers bloom and flowers fall. From the sea sprout new flowers. The truth unchanging, show to Amida. Springtime brings the happy birds. Amida, I join them in Nembutsu. I Gassho to Amida. When I call Amida's name, it's Amida calling me. Buddha's voice, my voice are one. I Gassho to Amida. When I'm lonely, I recite Namo Amida Butsu. Then I feel great compassion. I Gassho to Amida. Nembutsu in work and play. Every day with Amida, every moment filled with light. I Gassho to Amida. Remember the golden chain, kindness to all living things. I will follow this teaching. I Gassho to Amida. In the clear bright morning sun, in the fading light of day, in the darkness of the night, I Gassho to Amida. Namo Amida Butsu. I live in great compassion. This great power guides my life. I Gassho to Amida. Amanda. of Amida's vow is shared equally by all, together attaining awakening. We are born in the land of peace. Namanda, 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 namanda.
So please rise and turn to page 2 in your red service book for the reading of Homages. Hard it is to be born into human life. Now we are living in it. Difficult it is to hear the teachings of the Blessed One. Now we hear them. If we do not gain emancipation in this present life, we may not be free from ill-faring in the ocean of births and deaths for kalpas. Let us reverently take refuge in the 3 treasures. We go to the Buddha for guidance.
May we always walk in the way that leads to enlightenment. We go to the Dharma for guidance. May we be submerged in the depth of the teachings and gain wisdom as deep as the ocean. We go to the Sangha for guidance. May we all with one accord live the life of harmony in the spirit of oneness, free from the bondage of selfishness.
Even through myriads of kalpas, hard it is to hear such excellent and profound teachings. Now we are able to hear and receive them. Let us try to understand the Tathagata's teachings. Namo Amida Butsu.
Namo Amida Butsu. Namanda.
Please remain standing for Gatha, found in your brown service book, page 18, Becoming Free. be seated. This morning's Dharma talk will be given by Reverend Sumikawa.
Tamandao. Morning, everyone. Sorry about that coughing, the smoke got in my nose. I had to hold a book up like that. Very unbecoming. Anyway, well, good morning once again, and welcome to the Windward Buddhist Temple's first service of the year, 2022. So I trust that you all fared well throughout the festivities of the New Year's Eve and so forth, and had a restful sleep. You're ready to go. Before beginning my Dharma talk, by tradition, the New Year's greeting by the Monshu, the head priest of the Hongwanji, is read. So I'm going to read that first. Happy New Year, everyone. At the beginning of this new year, I'd like to extend my regards to you all. Over these past couple of years, we have had to adjust our lives in accordance with the scale of the spread of COVID-19. I would like to offer my deepest condolences to those who fell victim to the disease and express my sympathies to those who are undergoing treatment. I would also like to express my deepest respect and sincere gratitude to the doctors, nurses, and frontline medical professionals who have been engaging in the treatment of infected people, as well as all essential workers who have made it possible for us to continue with our lives. This infectious disease has not only greatly affected the life of each one of us, but also revealed many issues that have been contained in our society. Shakyamuni Buddha, who passed on the Dharma to us, made clear of the fact that we cannot see the truth because we are too attached to our own thought. Therefore, it is only natural that conflicts and divisions come about in a society in which those who, like us, fundamentally self-centered beings, act in accordance based on one's own thought. In the following Wasan poem, Shin deeply reflected on himself and described what we humans are like. Although I take refuge in the true Pure Land way, it is hard to have a true and sincere mind. This self is false and insecure. I completely lack a pure mind. As the Wasang shows, we are basically incapable of accepting the reality of this world, such as dependent origination, impermanence, and no self. And because of this, we constantly suffer. Only through being aware of and appreciating Amida's compassionate and salvific working are we enabled to accept our true self. Shinran Shonin clarified that such ignorance is the very reason why Amida's compassionate light let us live each day to the fullest, even though we have yet to see the end of the tunnel. I feel truly assured hearing that many of you have been making effort to share the Jodo Shinshu teaching within the greater society through various and innovative ways, despite the current situation. It is my hope that your temples will continue serving as your spiritual home, and therefore I humbly ask for your understanding and cooperation in support of your temples. I would like to conclude my New Year's greeting with my heartfelt appreciation to you all. Now will you please join me by putting your hands together in reverence as I read these words. As the new year of 2022 has arrived, let us ponder on the Buddhist word okage samade. Let us continue and acknowledge the teaching of the blind passions that limits our understanding of humanity and vision. Okage samade teaches us that we have, from the moment of birth, been sustained and supported by innumerable unseen forces. Let us be reminded that we are totally interdependent of all life forms, including animal and plant forms. Okage Samade reminds us to do our part as caretakers of our environment. True understanding of Okage Samade enables each of us to work on improving conditions to provide a more harmonious and happier global community for all living beings. Namo Amida Butsu. Namanda. Well, each year we receive messages of past resolutions, both realized and not. And now, new resolutions, and perhaps just like myself in years past. Years past, many years ago. Couldn't wait for midnight to hear and to see all the fireworks displayed throughout the island of Oahu. Not to mention imbibing in some refreshments. Buddhist ministers use the term hanyato, when they say they want to have a few drinks. What does hanyato mean? Hanyato means wisdom water. Yeah. The more wisdom water you drink, the wiser you think you become. All the world's problems are solved until the next morning and you wake up with a massive headache. However, it's one thing to resolve to do something like get more exercise or eat more vegetables in the new year. And I really do hope that you make these resolutions. At least you're thinking about it. So it must bother you a bit, or feel just a bit guilty anyway. But for this coming year, let's think about a really Buddhist resolution. From the golden chain of love that the children recite at Dharma schools, and sometimes we do that also here at our regular Sunday services. If we resolve that, I will be kind and gentle to every living thing. Well, if I make that into a resolution, it is because I believe it is worthy. Then it becomes important to me to see myself as successful. A resolve to be kind and gentle to every living thing becomes, I am kind and gentle. What a good person I am. That's a delusion. The reality is that it is not possible to be kind and gentle to every living thing perfectly all the time. If I resolve to do this, then it leaves me no room for me to see what I'm not doing, when I'm not doing it. Flowers are living things. If we are honest, to cut these flowers is not being kind and gentle to every living thing, right? Well, the Buddhist way is completely different. As a Buddhist, I set an intention to be mindful of being kind and gentle. It acknowledges that I know I won't be perfect. In fact, to really make this intention Buddhist would say, I will be mindful when I'm not being kind and gentle. This, I believe, is mindfulness of reality as it is, and not as I want it to be. The result then is not guilt or blame. When I am mindful that I'm not being kind and gentle to every living thing, and I cut the flowers, well, I'm grateful to them. I then enjoy their impermanent brilliance that much more. As you all know, Buddhism is not about behaving perfectly. It is about being aware of reality. If I'm only noticing and being mindful of the times when I am kind and gentle, I can delude myself into thinking that I am kind and gentle all the time. But that is not reality. But if I make my intention to be mindful of the times when I'm not kind and gentle, then I open myself up to the wisdom of reality. I'm also opening myself up to compassion. Compassion toward myself in acknowledging that it is okay not to be perfect. And compassion toward others to accept their imperfections as well. How can one not be grateful for the wisdom and compassion that comes when one practices being aware of one's own delusions in this way? When I become aware that I'm not thinking pure and beautiful thoughts about some aspect of life, then I can be grateful for the mindfulness. It is only in these instances of awareness that I can find the Pure Land, and that I am in the realm of true wisdom and compassion. So please continue with your yearly intentions of getting more exercise, eating more vegetables, less meat, but make room for mindful intentions as well. It is the heart of Buddhism. This is what leads to an understanding of what Shinran meant by the deluded self, or the impermanent self. This is an example of wisdom and compassion working in our lives. In the realization of this, we utter in gratefulness, Namo Amida Butsu. During each new year, there are cries of, may there be peace in the world and goodwill toward all men. This is a direct quote from the New Testament, the book of Luke. What this refers to is that the gospel will bring peace and goodwill. In the past new year, the slogan for the Hongwanji was path of entrusting, share peace. Shinran Shonin, the founder of Jodo Shinshu, wrote in one of his letters that was compiled and placed in the collected works of Shinran, in a section of the collection of letters, page 560, that may there be peace in the world. The entire passage reads as follows. Those who feel uncertain of birth should say the Nembutsu aspiring first for their own birth. Those who feel that their own birth is completely settled should, mindful of the Buddha's benevolence, hold the Nembutsu in their hearts and say it in respond in gratitude, that is, with the wish that may there be peace in the world and may the Buddha's teaching spread. In other words, peace first begins with yourself, then one can act accordingly. It is with the Nembutsu teaching that we are able to attain peace within ourselves and realize the importance of the Buddha's teachings. With this understanding, we can wish for peace in the world and wish for the spreading of the Buddha Dharma. As you all know, in Shin Buddhism, peace is deeply related to the preciousness of life. In the realization of the true value of all life, the Bodhisattva Dhammakara made 48 vows to liberate all of us, whether young or old, good or evil, regardless of gender or sexual orientation, before becoming the Amida Buddha. On another note, we tend to see things according to their usefulness. If a person is useful for our society, he or she is deemed important, and so is admired and respected. On the other hand, if a person is not seen as useful, he or she is then treated differently. It is the same with tools or other things that we use. When it is new, we tend to take care of it, wiping it down after each use and putting it away carefully. When they become broken down and useless, we discard them and replace them with new ones. The Buddha's approach to this is different. All life and things are seen as precious and irreplaceable by anyone or anything. Each life has absolute value. It doesn't matter whether one is seen as useful or not. You may think that your life is meaningless. The Buddha said your life is precious and that you need to take care of it. Even if you wish a person would drop dead, he or she is nevertheless enveloped in the Buddha's embrace and is recognized in the eyes of the Buddha. So we need to wish for this person's happiness and peace. So this is the year of the tiger in the Chinese zodiac system. It is characterized as being tough when facing adversity, with a strong sense of justice and a commitment to the greater good, generating a positive imagery for 2022. Although the COVID-19 virus and its ever-changing Omicron variants are still with us, we are hopeful that it is a year in which you can catch your breath and calm your nerves. To gain the greatest benefits from this time, we should begin to focus our lives on the third of 5 Hongwanji slogans for the year 2022, which is building healthy sanghas, connecting with others. By sangha, I mean not only our Buddhist sangha, or the Hongwanji Shin Buddhist sangha, but our community sangha, our state sangha, our American sangha, the world sangha as well. Let's make it a goal to create a safe and peaceful lifestyle so that we may be able to calmly deal with any problems that may arise. It will be a year of banding together in faith and in belief that good will prevail and win out over the forces that refuse to comply to a peaceful way of life. For those who trust in goodness, happiness and success will follow. So whatever you may do, remember that you are okay, just as you are. Cultivating your own potentiality with a sincere mind, dedicated to learning and practicing the Buddha Dharma. As we reflect on the words of the Buddha, gift giving to loved ones are expressions of gratitude for sharing your life with each and every one in the family and friends. Their lives that are unrepeatable are graciously shared with each of us. Gratitude to co-workers. Without them, your life would be much more difficult. And so may the year 2022 bring you peace in the Nembutsu. So please join me once again in putting your hands together in reverence. May the fresh air awaken the child of illusion in you. May the joy of opening your heart allow all sentient beings to prosper. May the illusion of your suffering unfold its veils to your understanding, and may you awaken in peace and happiness. May your awakening be a benefit to lessen the suffering of others, and may we be empowered by your example to awaken ourselves with joy and peace. Namo Amida Butsu. Namo Amida Butsu. So once again, Happy New Year, and may your lives be filled with joy, happiness, and good health, with the assurance of being in the embrace of the all-compassionate one. Thank you.
Thank you, Reverend Sumikawa, for that very inspiring sermon to start the new year. Okay, please rise. Please rise for Gatha with these hands, found in your brown service book on page 174. Please remain standing for the Nembutsu.
trusting in the vow of the Buddha, calling out the Buddha's name, I will pass through the journey of life with strength and joy. Namo Amida Butsu. Namo Amida Butsu. Namo Amida Butsu.
Please be seated. So this concludes the formal portion of our program. But before we go to announcements, we'd like to introduce a couple new people to our service. And if you could please rise and just introduce yourself. Thank you. Welcome. Okay. One announcement. Reverend Sumikawa will not be having meditation sessions for the next 2 Mondays. Okay. And I think Prudence has some announcements. Oh.
Good morning. Seems like it's been years. It has been years, yes, since I've been up here. Let's see. A couple of announcements. Next week, of course, is Shinran Shoni's memorial service, or Honko service. Our guest speaker is going to be Reverend Kerry Kiyohara from the Makawa Hongwanji Temple. So that'll be an interesting service to attend. And on Monday, 17th of January, which is Martin Luther King's Day, we are one of the 3 donor sites. They are having, let's see, what do they call it? Drive-by and drop-off. We're one of the 3 drive-by and drop-off locations. They are collecting non-perishable food for the Hawaii Food Bank, as well as, I wasn't aware, but some of you may have been, there is an organization called the Ma'i Movement. It's a bunch of women that have been collecting feminine hygiene products, especially for young women who are homeless and probably short of funds, and they have their periods, and sometimes they don't even have the right equipment or products. So they're having that collection. So those 2 agencies are going to be the recipients of this drive-by donation. So we're one of the sites. So they'll be driving in, and then we'll have the tent set up out front. So you can there will be information being publicized, and if you go to the Betsuing's website, you can either donate goods or you can donate funds. And there's one of those things you just click on. Let's see. So it's going to be from 9 to 3, but we're going to gather from 8:30. Anybody that's willing to volunteer. And thank you for those that already informed me. I'm working on a schedule, and I'll get back to you and confirm it. We're having 2 shifts, from 8:30 to 12, and again from 12 to 3:30. We also have volunteers from other organizations that's going to be helping us. So that's going to happen. Okay, so, we had hoped that we can still socialize like we used to do before. But with the increasing Omicron virus, we don't think it's such a good idea. However, we do have refreshments for you in a takeaway bag. So please go next door, help yourself. We have coffee and tea if you want, and we have cups that you can take away. If you still choose to sit and socialize, you may. Just make sure you distance yourself. So thank you to Dennis and Shirley to have contributed some of the goodies that you're going to find in your bag. So that's about it, and we're hoping that things will get better and we can begin to socialize, because I think that was one of the better parts of our services, or added to our services. All right. Any other comments, announcements that I may have forgotten? Okay. Well, thank you so much for attending our service, and thank you, the newcomers. We're always welcome to have you. So please proceed.